800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Good. Wow, it's Monday. I'm here on a Monday? How that can't be, man. I'm usually not here on Monday. I get to brag about the short week, but apparently I get to work the full week this week. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro here. It is Monday, the 2nd or 3rd? I don't know what the date is, but it's June. Wow, I was going to say May. This year is flying by. Flying by. I'm feeling older already. I feel like my birthday's come and gone, and not last year's. But, one of the things that I've been a little lacking on lately is going to the National Day calendar and figuring out what the events of the day or the week are. And I happen to notice a couple of interesting ones today. Today was actually National Egg Day. And, there's a million different egg recipes out there. You don't need me to tell you the benefits of eggs or the health detriments of eggs because the scientists can't figure out which way to go. Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they good for you? Bad for you? All I can tell you is that egg whites are probably the best source of protein you can have. Don't fry them in deep fat. I think you'll probably live for, I don't know, however long you're going to live. But another thing I did find, though, is that today is Chocolate Macaroon Day, and not the French macaron thing with the little crispy cookie with a little, well, actually, those cookies are actually very good. I can't really complain about those, but that's not the macaron. I'm talking about macaroon, as in you love them or hate them, coconut macaroons. You remember the one that grandma's always had on the table at Christmas time or, maybe in the summertime? They came in a can, you pop the lid open, and there was a little tin foil cover in there. Well, they used to have a peel back, thicker peel back lid that they used to have on a coffee can. But since we are not able to use such, or actually buy things with such a dangerous component to them anymore, they have this little foil seal inside. So that's the macaroon I'm talking about. But today, for some reason, is Chocolate Macaroon Day. Now, whether you like them or hate them, chocolate macaroons, there are two ways to make them. There's one with chocolate or coconut powder, actually, or cocoa powder incorporated into the mix. A lot of recipes tell you to put actually melted chocolate in there. It doesn't work. It takes away from the texture, so it's dry cocoa powder. But I actually prefer the chocolate dipped version. So what I did today is I actually shared my timeline. We're just going to go ahead and post. All right. What I did is I actually shared the recipe today. And the one I like actually comes from delish.com, and it's, it was up there. Where'd it go? It's fairly simple. I don't know if you ever made macaroon cookies before, but they're only like 4 ingredients, right? It's basically granulated sugar, white sugar, vanilla extract, kosher salt, and then sweetened shredded coconut. Now, you can make, for the macaroons, you can use unsweetened cocoa powder, and chocolate chips melted, and a little bit extra of those for melting or for drizzling. So once you dip them in, you dip the bottom side, then you have to drizzle the top to make them look really pretty, like zebra stripe cookies. So that's pretty simple. You take the oven, you heat it to 350, and I typically like to line the baking sheets with parchment, unless you happen to have these really cool things called Silpat. Silpats are a silicone baking sheet that are reusable time and time again. So you just wash it, reuse it, wash, reuse, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's really handy, and actually, they're not inexpensive. I think the least expensive ones I could find are around $8 to $10. The great thing is you never have to buy another one again. So if you, parchment paper, I tend to buy a roll, forget I have it, buy another roll, and then remember that I have parchment paper. So then I don't buy any for a long time. All of a sudden I use a bunch, and I go to cook, and I don't have them. So I decided to buy a bunch of Silpats. Silpat. There are, again, less expensive proximities of these, but they're really, really handy. So anyway, you put down your sheet on the whatever you're going to line the cookie tray with, and then you whisk the eggs, or the egg whites, sugar, vanilla, salt, and then you want to whip those till it's foamy. And if you're going to make the chocolate macarons, which is what we're making, macaroons, not macaron, you stir the cocoa powder in here, and then the melted chocolate chips as well. Not all of them. You probably need to keep reserve about a little less than a quarter cup for drizzling. Then you take a cookie scoop. You just scoop them out. It's like a medium-sized cookie scoop, maybe a 3-ounce cookie scoop. Scoop those out, put them on the tray. They bake for 25 minutes at 350. It's really one of my favorite cookies. At the end, when they come out, you let them cool off. Typically, best if you use them on a rack, and then or let them cool on a rack, as you know, because if you leave them on the cookie tray or the baking sheet, what happens? It's the same thing that happens when you take a steak that's done cooking. You remove the instead of removing it from the pan, if you just remove the pan from the heat and you leave it in there, it continues cooking on one side, right? That carryover cooking. So you don't want that. You want the you don't want them to get any browner on bottom than they are. So you remove them from the tray, put them on a cooling rack, a baker's rack, let them cool, and then take your melted chocolate, you dip the bottom in it, and then drizzle the top. It's delicious. If you look at the picture, they're really, man, I'm so hungry right now. Again, I need to learn to eat lunch before I come on the show. So the guys in the booth like Ron and Mike don't look at me going, dude, you're a chef. Why do you not eat before you come on the show? Are you not that smart? Well, you know what? No, I'm not always that smart. I'm not. I did have a little bit of watermelon, and I had a delicious piece of chocolate cake. Not the most nutritious breakfast and lunch, but I'm all hopped up, sugared up. I got a little coffee here. We're good to go.
I was gonna say, it's a good sugar rush you got going.
Oh,
so that's
yeah.
good.
Well, I had the cake early. That got me from Austin up here. So, but do you like macarons? Do you like cookies? Cookies. Do you like coconut? Because you either hate it or you love it.
Well, coconut, I'm 50-50 on coconut.
Okay.
I really am. You know those like Girl Scout cookies that have like the coconut on it and stuff like that? I like that. Too much coconut, I'm like, all right, that's too much.
Yeah, well, you end up chewing it forever.
Exactly. It gets stuck in your teeth. You can always taste coconut in your mouth.
I like coconut, but yeah, I don't like to be brushing on my teeth for days. But that was one thing I found interesting. I did actually post the recipe at Spoony Radio on Facebook. Yes, I posted it, and I shared the video to my own page within 5 minutes of the beginning of the broadcast. We are setting new records this week, folks. I'm on a Monday. I'm working. I shared the video, and I posted a recipe. Holy crap, man. That's like a trifecta today. Unless you know horse racing, nobody cares about trifecta. But he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? I grew up in the town with the oldest operating horse track in the United States, Saratoga Springs. Look it up. The Travers Cup is coming up. I think it's in August. It's a great race. It's one of the only races they have there that's not harness racing, which is what they're known for. But harness racing is kind of weird. Now, if you're tired of kale, good news. Change 3 letters, and now apparently kelp is the new kale. Yes, kelp. You know, the green stuff you actually, it's not the stuff you get in sushi. That's called laver. That's a different type of seaweed. You have something to input there, Sparky? Okay. All right, good. I'm just joking. Mike, it's good to see you again. Thanks for running the board for me.
It's good to see you, too.
So there are a lot of different seaweeds. Kelp is one that when it grows underwater, it actually looks like a big lasagna noodle. And they grow in big groups called forests. Now, it's extremely nutritious. It's very inexpensive to grow. Matter of fact, some of the cool things about kelp, which I think 3 or 4 years ago, they were touting it as the new superfood. It was going to be in everything we eat. Kelp is really nutritious, but it also grows without fertilizer. And once you harvest it, you can use it as fertilizer. The actual annual kelp harvest is valued more than all of the lemons and limes that are harvested over the world. And it cleans up the ocean by taking out nitrogen compounds. Well, I don't care if you're entrepreneurial, capitalistic, or a member of the Green Party. It sounds like a good deal to me. But I'll be honest, it's not really tasty. Japanese use it a lot in cooking. It's actually simply added to food. I mean, like broths and things like that as a flavoring. It's part of the seasoning for the primary broth in Japanese cooking, which would be used for like miso soup, for clear soup, which is basically soup without miso in it. But yeah, it is key in some Asian cultures, and there are a few select ways to incorporate that into your daily diet, where it's julienned really thin and incorporated into like a kind of like the sunamono salad. It's that little thing that they don't really do it at Japanese restaurants anymore. But when you used to go to a Japanese restaurant, every restaurant gave you this little kind of sweet and sour salad with typically diced up pieces of either fish or octopus or something in it as a little hold you over until you ordered your food. But they don't do that anymore. So anyway, again, if you're tired of kale, kelp is in, kale is out. I don't think so. I'll stick with kale, thanks. And I even like kelp. Okay. So this weekend, I was thinking about my trip to Chicago and the food show. And I was watching these presentations on the stages. They had, Bella Vita had a very big stage. And if you saw, I brought in some food items, some garnishes, basically these little pearls. Some were truffle inside, or truffle flavored. Some are olive oil. Some are, there's one other one I have. I think it's balsamic vinegar. And I was thinking, it's this this company that was across from the stage. They had all these wonderful pastas. And I started thinking, well, pasta's great. I'm watching them cook on the stage. I really like being a demo chef. I've done demos before. I do a lot of teaching, and I speak to the public. And I was thinking, and I think everybody probably knows this by now, but there's an event tomorrow night, and it's here in the Dallas area in Frisco at a place called Concrete Cowboy, and it's called Culinary Fight Club. If you happen to be unaware, I, Chef Patrick Mosher, will not be doing a demo. Well, I will be doing a demo, but it's more like a 4-chef, 1 round, 1 hour version of Chopped. There's no second chances. There are no second rounds. You basically have 40. You get to look at the pantry items. They have about 18 or 20 items in the pantry. Very simple, pretty much basics. One of the things I really would like to use is rice. It's not in the pantry, so I have to rethink my dish. But we get 45 seconds to run to the pantry, and that includes the chef and or bartender. It's a bite and a sip paired together, right? We have 45 seconds to go there, including each person, and you can carry things. You can carry everything back only in your apron or inside your shirt, or how you can't carry a basket. You can't take a bag. You have to carry it back on your person. So you have to split that 45 seconds between the mixologist and the chef, and then we have 1 hour to create something fantastic, something that would beat Bobby Flay, right? Hopefully. But we have 1 hour to create one dish. We have to plate 4 of those for the judges and then provide 100 1-ounce samples for the attendees. So, I'm actually getting a little bit nervous now I'm thinking about this. Just a little, just a touch. I haven't competed since culinary school. That was like early 90s. That was a long time ago. Yeah, early 90s. That was a long time ago. 27, 28 years ago. I'd already been working in the industry at that point, but I'd never competed before. And I can tell you that competition with 4 people on that team was intense. But when it's just me and Matt Locke, who's going to be my mixologist for the day, poor guy. I'm throwing him under the bus, aren't I? No. I do have a couple of hidden secrets. I did have a couple texts back and forth between our mixed metaphors expert, Cheryl Keisler. So she has the pantry item list, and it should be really fun. Should be fun. One of the dishes has to incorporate Sam Adams. So either the sip or the bite, or the bite or the sip, has to have beer in it. So my challenge, since I'm not a bartender mixologist, is how do I incorporate that into one or the other or both, and have that perfect pairing? Because as you know, I specialize in Japanese food. So Sam Adams is not really part of the Japanese diet, although they drink plenty of beer. How my challenge today, and yes, I know I'm seeing a little distracted, but macaroons didn't really excite me too much. Kelp, I like kelp, but it's not the end all be all. I'm not going to exchange cal for kelp anytime soon. But I'm thinking about this challenge tomorrow. I can't get off my mind. Ever since I left here Friday, and then spent the weekend in Austin, and on the drive back, all I've been thinking about is what I'm going to do tomorrow. So what I did? I invited some people from the CFC, the Culinary Fight Club team, into studio today to answer a few of my questions. Because I don't know. If there's only 18 or 20 pantry items, do they grab the whole container and I don't get any of that item? Or do they split them up into smaller portions so each chef gets to take some? I don't know. I'm hoping that I have an equal opportunity, an equal share in everything that's offered. But we will find out. They'll be in here at 2 o'clock today. It'll be Brad. I forgot Brad's last name, and another person from Culinary Fight Club. So I'm looking forward to it. And I have to tell you, I've not watched Food Network in a really long time because everything seems a bit scripted. And the challenge is a bit on the silly side sometimes. And forgive me to the producers of Chop, because a gentleman I know was one of the people that actually came up with that show and took that pitch to Food Network, Adam. But it's a bit, okay, lemon drops. Lemon drops is really going to be in your challenge as something you have to incorporate into your first savory dish. That just makes no sense to me. Now, Sam Adams, that makes sense. And what I really love about what they're doing, Jawan, who is the head of the Culinary Fight Club, they've done a great job of presenting the challenge of chefs having an equal access to an equal pantry without anything silly going on. You're allowed to bring in a couple of secret ingredients for both your drink and your bite, but you have to cook. You have to be able to cook anywhere under any circumstances, and it's gonna be tough. I don't have an oven. I don't have let's see, Chef Mike. There's no microwave. There's no oven. There's no deep fryer. I can bring a pressure cooker, which I may do. I'm not sure. Basically, 2 little cassette stoves, little butane burners, and if I want to bring another one, my own pots and pans, separate cutting boards based color coded, and my knives and my skill set. So. Wish us luck tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. Tune in. Actually, we will be broadcasting live on the Facebook channel or the Facebook page on Spoony Radio on our Facebook page. And I'm trying to get Trey Chapman to come out and cover it for me on Trey's Chatdown. If not, I believe Brandon Anderson of Rack Attack will be there. And at Rack Attack Barbecue. So he's going to come out. Again, this is at Frisco tomorrow evening. I think we start. The throwdown starts at 6 p.m. I have to show up at 5:15, check in. We get a little debriefing. Yeah, I think it starts at 6 p.m. Central. That's at Concrete Cowboy in Frisco. I don't have the address, but I'm sure I'll know it by tomorrow. So let's look at some other news headlines here before I give you, because otherwise I'm going to tell you what I'm going to try to cook, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag because because I don't want these other chefs who could be, they don't have a daily radio show where they can listen and say, does he let anything out? What is he going to do? What is this? What's his specialty? What does he even do for a living? He talks on the radio. Is he even a chef? Well, my bio on the Culinary Fight Club page doesn't say anything about cooking. It just says I host a radio show. I curate the channel. Thank goodness it didn't say anything about Nobu or Chef Morimoto or, Universal Studios or Private Chef or Billionaires. That's okay. Thank you for leaving all that out. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Juwan. So I'm hoping I'm voted as the underdog because then the pressure to win isn't on. Look, no, that even sucks because second place is worse than third, isn't it? At least third, you medaled. Second, you didn't win. First, you're the badass that goes home with a prize. Apparently, fake white truffles are now the latest major food problem. How do you make fake white truffles? Fake food is all over. Did you know that they use these, the pig's anuses are now approved to be called calamari? Yes, the sphincter from a pig's butt can be sold legally and called calamari. That happened a couple of years ago. For some reason, some ungodly reason, the USDA decided that they could reterm pig's anus, right, the sphincter, as calamari. Well, calamari rings. Obviously, it's not going to look like the tentacles, I hope. But what in the world would ever possess someone to do that? Really? I don't understand it. Now, I'm not, I'm not really against the plant-based proteins, like Impossible Burger, Beyond Meat. I don't have a problem with that. But apparently, there's something shady going on in the world of truffles, and fraud is rampant. I don't know how you can fake a truffle. If you've ever seen a truffle, it's an extremely dense, very, very hard, not tasty when eaten whole. Trust me. Ask Trey Chapman. He took a bite out of one time. But it's not a very appealing item until you shave it and you start to smell the oils in there, and it's a wonderful addition to things. But apparently, it's the biggest thing in the world, in fraud right now in the food world, is that there's this fraudulent white truffle. I don't even know what they're using. What are they using? Are they drying like pork liver? How are they doing this? No idea. Anyway, apparently white truffle fraud is a big deal now. Oh, let's see. Break out your cowgirl hat and grab an oatmeal pie. It's the history of Little Debbie. Little Debbie snack cakes. They kind of went the way of Hostess, right? When they stopped doing the Twinkies. I'm sure they got bought up by someone else. Snickers and Twix flavored milk has... Oh, hey. Snickers and Twix flavored milk has arrived. Because what's better than drinking your candy for breakfast? I got to see what that is. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I mean, because who doesn't... Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? It looks like a protein shake, but it's not. This is on radio.com. And this is Snickers, Twix, and... Okay, it's just the two. They have low fat and regular. And 14 grams. It's like a protein shake. 14 grams of protein per bottle. And so your chocolate milk game has leveled up. In a bid to make your breakfast candy bar dreams come true, Mars is releasing Snickers and Twix flavored milk. Sweet. Joking. Instagram, there's an Instagram account called @CandyHunting, was the first to get a glimpse of the new lactose tolerant powder. Anyway, how do people even think this up? Really? I mean, I don't know how they come up with this many candy bars, this many different types of cereal. Because when you walk down the cereal aisle, I can't figure it out. There are 15 new brands or type cereal varietals a week. I'm lucky if I can remember the ones I grew up on as a kid. What? Frosted Flakes. We had Cheerios. No Honey Nut Cheerios. Let's see. Frosted Flakes, Cheerios, Corn Pops, Sugar Pops, Corn Pops, whichever one, both. Nope, the graham cracker one didn't exist then. You had Captain Crunch, Trix, Fruity Pebbles, and Cocoa Puffs. Oh, Lucky Charms, right? That's all I can remember from my childhood, except like grape nuts, but who ate grape nuts, right? And then you had like shredded wheats, but who eats shredded wheats, right? Really? I mean, my mother did, but that was my mom. But they didn't have like frosted mini wheats or anything like that. There were basically 8 varieties of cereal. You walk down the aisle now, and there's like 300. So now you're going to have to walk down the milk aisle. I have a hard enough time just finding plain, unsweetened almond milk, and now I have to look past the Snickers flavored chocolate milk. Like I'm going to pass that up? I mean, they're good at enticing us to drink something that we shouldn't. It says there's 14 grams of protein. Yeah, but how much sugar is in there? The 14-ounce bottle is going to retail for $2.49. I need to find out where that's available because I need to try it and see if it's any good. Ooh, we should try that. I think there's one more flavor of M&Ms that Brad Staggs and I have not tried on his show. Maybe we'll do it this Thursday, possibly, if I'm here. But I need to try the M&Ms, the final flavor of M&Ms that they're voting to see which is going to be the new one. We've tried the Mexican jalapeno, the Thai coconut, the English toffee, and there's one other one we tried. But there are 2 other. The crunch one, and then there's the mint. But I got to see if this is as good or better because I'll tell you, most of the M&Ms were fails, so I'm curious to find out how this goes. All right. Yeah, what are they going to think of next? They are just trying to keep me fat, I'm telling you. Trying to keep the fat man down right here. They're going to put really Snickers and Twix flavored milk in front of my almond milk. So I have to, how can you say no? I can't even say no to the Snickers bar at the counter when my arms are full of groceries because I don't go in and get a shopping cart. No. I go with a list of 6 items in my head and I am not allowed to buy anything I can't carry in my hands. So now I'm going to have to put something healthy down, pick up one of those milks. Well, maybe they'll sell it at the counter. I can just put it on the counter, on the little roller thing, the belt. Grab that milk off the counter and buy it anyway. All right. Chef Patrick Mosher, the appetizer course is done for the day. Chef Jeff Wetzel should be calling here in a minute. It's about time we get a pond to plate
Chef
/
Patrick
fishing
Mosher
report.
on Twitter at
Oh.
Food Biz Pro.
All right, we're going out early. I'll be right back. Apparently.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. That's 800-218-6473.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
All right. Sorry about that, folks. My intro or my outro was a little early, about 20 seconds, but that's okay because you know what? That's what happens when you come in unprepared. And producer God, Ron, looks at you and says, dude, we need to cut you early. At least he's not muting the mic like Jeff does. Thank you. I appreciate that. And at least get a heads up because there's some music. Yeah, we got some guests in house. We'll get to that in just a second. Let me check the phone lines here and see if Jeff Wetzel's on the line. Yeah, he might be there. I need to refresh this. So yeah, he'll be calling in just a minute. Jeff Wetzel, the Cowboy Chef out of Bentonville, Arkansas, will be calling in with a segment on Pond to Plate here. We'll be talking about some fish. I don't know. He might have an event coming up this Thursday or something we want to talk about. And you're welcome to come sit down. Come on in. All right. So it's one big happy family. I can get you a mic set up in a second, and we'll figure out what we're going to do about headset or not. The only thing is, the only reason you need a headset really is I'm deaf, which means I can't tell what's going on unless, I can. But if you can wear them if you want. You don't have to have them. The only thing is if they talk to us, you can't hear it. Or when the caller calls in a minute, you can't hear it. So anyway. So let's go around the room and we got. Let's introduce ourselves here, guys. Well, you all know me. I'm Patrick. Apparently, I'm the guy, the player not to be named later, who is somehow been talked into throwing his hat into the ring for the first time since like 1992 into a culinary competition. Oh, I probably got to unmute you there too. That'll help. And here, let's. One of you, you're only hearing one ear if you do use those. But so, what the hell was I thinking, man?
Well, you want to get your name out there, right?
Yeah, you know what? Look, here's what I want to do. I want to promote the channel. I want to promote CFC. I do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's so Adam, right?
Dan.
So it's funny because I wrote down Dan.
I see it, yeah. I believe you.
Yeah, no, somewhere. I don't know where, but What was I thinking? We got 4 chefs tomorrow night, right?
Correct.
Okay. This is the first event to be held in the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
This is the first time we come down here.
Okay. And Dan, who'd you bring with you?
I brought John Magno. John Magno is
How's it going?
chef at our restaurant in Kansas City.
Okay.
He also is the person that's in charge of, so tomorrow when you bring your box and you've got everything in there, and I'll explain what I'm talking about here in a second, he's going to be the one going through to make sure there's nothing in there that you're not supposed to have.
Like
pre-prepared
ingredients?
So for example, if you brought like an unprepared ingredient, like your own spice blend that's like unpackaged, just something that would give you like an edge over the other chefs. So I'm just going to look for those type of things. So we're on a fair playing ground.
Well, I'm sorry. Who's the young lady you brought with you here?
This is Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi.
Okay, so Catherine has no mic nor well, actually, we'll get you mic in just a second. There's a mic right there, and there's a cord that should be with it. So if we want to grab that, we can. That way, at least you can talk. I keep looking for my buddy Jeff. He's going to call in. So hopefully, and if he doesn't, no problem, because we got plenty of people to fill the time. Well, that's okay. You can stand up, Mike. It's okay. It's better. The less FaceTime for me, the better. They call it a vanity monitor.
Yeah, I see. I see the monitor is facing on you guys' side.
I keep saying, you can't be vain if you're not good looking. So just turn it off. Can we just take the video off, please? I got a face for radio, and lucky the voice to match. But so let's talk a little bit about the whole premise of Culinary Fight Club.
Okay.
We had Juwan on the other day. It was kind of it wasn't rushed, but it was good. We had Juwan and Anthony on Friday, which was really fun. It was because, to be honest with you, I tried to go and see an event in Chicago. They had a black box event, I think.
Correct.
But it was the night before the NRA show started. That's the other NRA, the National Restaurant Association, folks.
Yeah, that was
bang
crazy.
Bang. No, that's after you bang the chop and cook it, right? And so I didn't get to go, which is probably good. I'm better under pressure, kind of not winging it, but my spidey sense will be going.
Good.
So,
Good.
Absolutely.
So how did the whole thing start?
Well, we got involved about 4 years ago, and what we do with our competitions is we get 3 or 4 chefs and have them come in. We kind of do it kind of like a chop style. We've got ingredients for them to use. We do a race over to the pantry to grab the items that you would like to use for the event. And then after that, you've got an hour to cook, and we kind of give you premises of what we want, but we also give them a lot of reign to do what they think is best for the competition. For this one, we're doing a sip and bite. So it's a little different than what we normally do. So we're making a small appetizer bite, and then we're also going to make a small drink that's paired with it. So a little more elements involved, but it's going to be a great time. We're going to have it at the Concrete Cowboy there in Frisco.
Yep.
And, if you guys got time tomorrow, come on out and see us.
Well, I don't have a choice, do I? Well, I could. I could chicken out. I could chicken out and say, nah, my butt hurts. Or no, I can't do that, man. I'm going to go right from the show here because I'm still on 1 to 3 tomorrow, and I'm going to, rush my butt right up there and be ready. Now, sip and bite. Now, there's a special ingredient we have to incorporate in either or both the food or the beverage, right?
Correct. And as one of our national sponsors that we've got, it's Samuel Adams. And you'll know that you'll have Sam Adams, but you won't know exactly what type of Sam Adams we're going to be bringing.
Son of a bitch. That was the question I had. Is like, do I know? Do I get a choice?
What's fun is the more of these we do, the more, more creative we've learned to get with things. So instead of telling people what they're going to have in advance, they only have like 20 some different types of beers. So,
well, there was a recent competition that you may be aware of that was a big one, and they had to recreate a dish, and there are only 14 ingredients in the dish, and they gave them 18 ingredients in the basket.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
we will actually be part of fun. Yeah, we'll actually be part of that coming up in October as well.
Yes, which is going to happen right here in Dallas, right?
Yes, it'll be at Reunion Tower.
I'm looking forward to that. So I had Mike McLean on the show a couple weeks ago, right before Final Table. I think it was about not quite 10 days before, and. But I mean, that's tough. Your palate has to be on. To recreate a dish is difficult enough alone just to get the ratios and aspects, right? But when you're snuck something like that, and I think that's where the chefs probably had an advantage. And I don't know who won. You can don't if you tell me we got to kill everybody in the room,
correct,
and everybody listening as well, because the show doesn't air until I think it's around the 6th or 8th of August. It'll be on CNBC, and. Yeah, that was sneaky but cool, and
And that's something that we've got to be a part of before, because we used to be on the competitor side more.
Oh, really?
And now we've kind of moved over to helping run the events. Johnny actually won Best of the Midwest last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Oh,
2 years ago.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for you. Congratulations, man. That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, we have a good time doing it.
And it's just kind of bred into what it is now with us helping do it. And one of the reasons we're involved so much is that there's a charity that's attached to it, Fight to Feed.
Yep, that's
and it's a way that we raise money. Plus, it gets us out of the restaurants for a little while. So that's always
Yeah,
good.
everybody wants that. So let's go through so histories. You know, who you. I mean, we know who you are. What's the name of the restaurant? Are you affiliated with the restaurant as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
The name of the restaurant is District Poorhouse and Kitchen.
Okay. Awesome.
It's in Kansas City, Missouri.
All right. I'm listening.
Yeah, we've been open for about 6 years. 6 years in September.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, what's the premise of the restaurant?
We're kind of like all around American gastro pub. We do hand cut steaks, fresh seafood. We have duck on the menu, but we also have wings and burgers, fried risotto balls, fried goat cheese. So we're kind of what the neighborhood needs. We do a first Friday of the month. We do a crab boil, and we do a tap takeover where we have our 13 pipeline beers, and we get a brewer that comes in, preferably local, and then we sell all their beers that night until we run out.
That's
which is
awesome.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a sponsorship with Tito's from right here. You know,
Oh, that little company?
Yeah, that tiny company there that no one knows about anymore.
Outgrew their distillery?
Yeah. So we have a sponsorship with them, and if you've been in restaurants and you've seen behind the bar where they've got just like a jar of their own infusion that they're doing, right? They've got
I may
their
have
own
been to a
fruit
bar,
stuff,
too.
like, right? So what we've done is we've kind of taken that and blown it up, and we've got 32 of them. And we've got a bunch of 5-gallon jars behind the bar. It looks great.
That's very cool.
It's fantastic. It's different than what anyone else has in Kansas City right now. It's kind of one of those things like, if it works, cool, and if it doesn't, well, we just got to take down the jars. No one's going to know anyways.
Well, before you go, we'll go ahead and I'll get all the information today, and I'll put the links up on our social media. It'll be really fun.
Perfect.
And hopefully we'll get some traction. I don't know, but you know, if anybody's listening, like and share. Mike, can you do me a huge favor? Can you kill the phones and try them again? Turn them back on for me, just to see if the actual number up there. See if Jeff might be busy, so he might. He was going to pick up a refrigerator. My buddy. So my friend Jeff Wetzel, one of the most interesting guys I've ever met. I actually took him to Bentonville, Arkansas from Houston because I went up there for a partnership in a seafood restaurant and seafood market in Arkansas. Luckily they have like 220 flights a week into that little airport up there because of Sam's and Walmart being there. But he stayed. And they call him the cowboy chef because he always got a big black cowboy hat on, or a white one, and either a red chef coat or a black one. But he's a little bit country, a little bit redneck, maybe some rock and roll in there somewhere. I'm not sure, but he's a very interesting character. His company is called Le Bouvier Chef Services, and so it's as close as you can get to the cowboy in French. But his T-shirts that they sell, it says on the front, it's classically French, and on the back it says tragically redneck.
Perfect.
And it's awesome. He does some really great food. He's got an event coming up, I think, this Thursday. He's been requesting me to go up and work a station for him. So depending on... look at that. Nope, that's me. Okay, I'm back. The host is back. But yeah, just make sure the phone's live for him. I tried to get on the phone last week, and we had to reset the computer. So no, I'm not sure if he called back in or not. I just... I'll check with him and see. He might have gotten busy. So you have this wonderful restaurant, beautiful bar, awesome food. It's kind of like a neighborhood joint.
Correct.
But better than, your neighborhood joint. Yeah. And so where'd y'all come from before that? And then we'll get back more into CFC because we got another hour to kill. So
not a problem. Let's see. So I started off at a local sports bar in Kansas City. That was now 19 years ago. Yes. Yeah, about 19 years ago. So started there, worked my way up, and then kind of bounced around a little bit, knowing I wanted to own my own place, but needed to make sure I knew everything that I thought I needed to know. Found out I did, which was great. And then, found Johnny here and I worked together at my last stop before District Poorhouse. It's been open. It's a place in Kansas City. It's well known, been open for like 30 years, called the Classic Cup. And what we did is we left there and started up, District Poorhouse, and then come to find out, about 3 years later, we now went back to the Classic Cup, purchased it, which has actually worked out really well for us because
Very
we
cool.
know everybody there already, and it was
Turnkey.
a really, really easy transition for us. So it's worked out pretty well so far.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, we have a good time in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard the food doesn't suck either.
Yeah.
Especially if you like barbecue.
Yeah,
So.
you got the right spots.
And you, young lady?
So I moved up to Kansas City about 5 years ago. I worked around in the restaurant industry and eventually got hooked on with District Poorhouse about a year ago, and it sucked me right in. It was definitely a family type of environment, really dynamic. I'm actually behind the bar, so I do a lot of those infusions. So there's a lot of pride, and not only pride, but creativity that goes into them. And we work together with the kitchen to kind of mold beverages, or alcoholic beverages that go with all of our dishes. So
and who doesn't like alcoholic beverages that go with all your dishes? So do you? I mean, so besides the infusions, and yes, careful. This thing is not bolted down. The chair part. This is literally 1960 diner table that we found.
It looks really cool.
$300. It is. Well, this was built right. This one of our set designer, our set builder is actually a show host on our morning show. We have an adjacent. Don't know if you saw the other. Studio over there, but it's a different platform. We don't their politics. We don't talk too much. We're all the same company. We're all friends. But so at the bar, do you do anything? Do you make your own bitters or anything like that as well?
yeah, we make all of our own syrups. We do a couple different types of ice. We smoke ice. We make Bloody Mary ice. We really go above and beyond to create a cocktail that's customized for the drinker.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have torches too behind the bar, right?
Yeah, we have torches. We have.
Who doesn't like torches?
Yeah, we like lighting stuff on fire.
Yeah.
You actually have a couple of drinks on the menu, right?
Yeah,
that you made.
I have a couple cocktails. It's actually called the Cat's Meow because my name is Catherine. It includes.
That's great.
Egg white foam. It has a pineapple whiskey that we infuse. It's a really, really neat cocktail. It kind of brings the lighter side of whiskey for the summer.
Awesome.
And then those vodkas back there, you can really do a whole lot with vodka because it takes on the ingredients so well.
Well, the biggest ploy ever was the high level vodka, right? Grey Goose was like the biggest outside, in my opinion, outside of Johnny Walker Blue, the best marketing ploy ever.
They did a great job, and that's about when I started bartending. Everyone that came in there and wanted a higher end cocktail was always Grey Goose.
Oh, yeah.
But then I was also confused a lot of the time because instead of, if you've got this fine liquor, you want to drink it by itself mostly. 80% was like,
Red Bull, right?
No, and this was before Red Bull even.
Yes, so
this was cranberry juice.
Juice.
Well, Cape Cod, basically splash of lime, little soda. Yeah, so
but you're using a $6, $7 drink.
Well, go back. So you have to go back and look at the history of that, right? The guy, the gentleman that founded that company with a lady who, of all things, was making vodka in France, was responsible for basically he owned the rights to exploit, so to speak, of all things, Jägermeister in the United States, right? But what he did is he came across one time it was a group of college people doing a promotion for it. I think, or the Jägermeister themselves were doing a promotion at a college campus, and he was like, shoot, I found the niche. So that's why every college campus is inundated with Jägermeister events, right? So then he went to France. He was looking for he owned a premium vodka because there was no premium vodka. He basically had Stoli's and everybody else because Stoli's just had the biggest name. He had Zubrovka, like these little brands nobody knows of that have the buffalo grass in it. It's Polish, but those nobody knew. And so to create this premium brand, because you look at the definition of vodka, odorless, tasteless, clear. Odorless, tasteless, clear. Okay, well, then how can it be premium if they're all, in theory, have the same, proof, similar, and they have the same non-flavor, which we know they're all different, right? Because they may have corn or whatever. But it was interesting. So he went and he created the first, premium tier vodka. And it's not a bad vodka. I like it. I mean, I've sipped it before. It's good. It's a good vodka. But, I mean, dude, that was the first one to market as a premium vodka.
They were really smart about it because
absolutely.
Then all of a sudden, their price increased as well. And like you said, with that Stoli, the Absolutes, it kind of left them behind, and made them that middle tier, which a lot of people, middle tier and most middle tier stuff doesn't sell as well as your bottom or your top.
So Nick Rickman's like, now that's the crew right there.
Hey, here we go.
And
Good.
and then
Thanks, Nick.
he goes heading to watch the CFC in Pensacola as we speak. Let's see, Tom Trost, one of our partners here, just joined. Mark Conway joined. I don't know if you know Mark Conway.
I do know Mark.
So Mark actually has a show on here called
nice.
Family Table. He's going to be doing 2 shows now a week. Mark, by the way, I did get your text. I'll call you after the show. It's been a little bit crazy. Let's see, Sean Schiller, my buddy. Pineapple Whiskey, I'll try that. Ooh, that's my buddy Sean. He has a show on the other channel called it's called Off Track. They do Sunday evenings. It's pretty funny, actually. But who else there? We got any other good comments out there? Let's see. Marie Daniels there. Hi, Marie. We have, yes, Summy Schick. I think, Summy, I did mention cornflakes in the first segment. Yes. Rackets. Okay, by the way, the address for tonight, tomorrow is 3685 The Star Boulevard, Suite 210. That's in Frisco. That's at Concrete Cowboy tomorrow evening. The real show starts at 5:36. I'll be there a little early. We get the debrief and the don't do this, okay to do that kind of a thing. So what are some of Stephen Isles, look at me for once, go. So I have this real bad problem with not sharing the video, because we do Facebook Live as well as it goes out live over iHeartRadio, and it's a 24-hour stream, and then podcast later on Spreaker or whatever. I have a real bad time about sharing the video from the Spoony page to my page. Like, I never get it done. I'll start and I start typing, and then I get talking. I have guests. I have a phone call. I'm talking to the booth. I have such a difficult time trying to just get that shared. I actually did it within 3 minutes of the broadcast starting today. People are like, "Yay, you did, and you posted a recipe too," because it's National Chocolate Macaroon Day, by the way.
Chocolate macaroon,
not macaron. Macaroon
seems very
Coconut.
Specific.
Yeah, I mean, who the hell thinks that stuff up? I mean,
there's got to be something for every day.
It's National Egg Day today. It's National Repeat Day today. Don't repeat what I'm saying.
It's just a marketing ploy, right? Eat more eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Or less eggs, depending. I mean,
eat more
macaroons.
Yeah, they're getting out of style.
Out of season.
Out of season.
Macaroons. The old style macaroons are just kind of. I mean, I don't see them anywhere but like Grandma's house, and I don't go to Grandma passed a long time ago, so sorry.
So
Grandma.
You don't go to Grandma's house?
Well, no, she doesn't have. I mean, I could, but the graveyard's kind of a weird, creepy place to go on a holiday.
You know what?
So,
You're right.
For macaroons.
Not for macaroons.
Not for macaroons.
Not for mac. Yeah.
All right. So just so you know, I'm peeking behind you because that's my timer back there. We got about 8 minutes in another hour. So you competed, and I'm not going to pick your brain too much, right? So how many series did you have to go through? How many events till you were best in the Midwest?
Well, we started in 2016. It was a steak competition in Kansas City, and I won that event. That got me entry into the World Food Championship later. Was that?
That was 16.
Yeah.
Was that an
16.
SCA event, the first one, or was it?
No, it wasn't an SCA event. That was before. Well, last year was the first time World Food Championship implemented the SCA.
Yeah, that's right.
For those rules. So, but anyways, I took top 10 in World Food for the state competition, and then I'm actually good at this. Like our team of district, we're actually good. So we just kept competing, and there are events around the city. It's nice. It's for a good cause.
Absolutely.
Fight to feed. We help feed homeless people in the city. Started in Chicago. In Kansas City, we have the sister location, and so every month or every other month we try to have like a team get together, make some food, go out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys do a good job. I mean, it's Fight to Feed, folks. Is it fighttofeed.org, or can you find it on Facebook as well?
Yeah, you'll find it on .org. There's also a Facebook page you can find.
Okay, yes, please go check it out. Do your part. You don't have to get out and feed people personally to make a difference, really. So,
and we'll do a 50-50 raffle at the event. So how we do our 50-50 raffle is 50% of the money goes back to the person that won, 50% goes right to Fight to Feed. It's just another way that we can raise money.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incentive, right, to get you emotionally involved. And if you're not emotionally involved, maybe you get financially involved in some sort of benefit to yourself, which, it's okay to be a little selfish or greedy sometimes. Just do it for the right reason.
Right.
So, congratulations. That's cool that you made it through. Well, like I said, it's been a long time since I competed. I mean, it's not like I don't cook. Fortunately,
it's like riding a bike.
Dude, my bio left off Nobu and Morimoto.
Well, I'm really bad at riding bikes, but
yeah.
Well, it's like riding a bike, but you only have an hour to figure it out as well.
Yeah. Well, I have done sushi in under 40 minutes before.
Oh.
It's including the rice.
Nice.
Which really is what sushi means. It's just vinegared rice. It has nothing to do with fish or anything else. But, so I'm thinking, I'm seriously thinking about.
Could that be one of your mystery ingredients to bring tomorrow?
Well, so I can't bring the sushi rice. I can just bring the rice.
Yeah, you bring the rice
or
you
whatever.
cook it. Yeah. Rice wine vinegar.
Yeah. So I'm also thinking about, so strategically, how do you incorporate, because I don't know which beer it's going to be, but how do I incorporate the secret ingredients for the beverage into the food so that I can cross them over? And I got a little diagram going on. I'm trying to.
You could marinate.
I know what I would do.
You could marinate. You could reduce it. Maybe if it's a tart beer, maybe a vinaigrette or a ceviche like that.
Well, you could also take it.
A beer cocktail.
That's the thing.
Something else,
because of the Asian flavors, like ginger, a little garlic, maybe lemongrass, or some. Take some of those ideas and then think about how you can incorporate the beer into a cocktail, basically with some of those. And because there is citrus, so the pantry has citrus. Thank God, there's lemon, lime, and orange. Because I did ask you, though.
Yes.
Okay, because this I need a clarification on, because it's a mad dash for the pantry. All 4 go at once.
Correct.
And there's only 45 seconds combined for both the mixologist and the chef, or if it's just, I think one person might be competing on their own.
Yeah, I saw that, which that's going to be a strain, but you can get it done in an hour.
Yeah, well, and look, maybe they're just going to, maybe you don't have to do anything fancy with the beer, right? Maybe you have something that just pairs with it really well on the food side, or, maybe the other direction, but I was really worried about not having access to some of the pantry items. And I'm sure that there's something I'm not going to get because
correct.
If it doesn't work out that way, it's no fun.
If you grab one of it, let's say you needed lemons and you grabbed one, if you say, hey, I need more lemons and there's more lemons still on the table, I can get those for you. Now, if you don't grab them at all, there's nothing I can do to help you out. If you needed more and you ask me, hey, Dan, can you get more and there's no more left on the table, I can't help you out.
Yeah, I get it.
Or if one of the competitors is really nice and says, "Hey, do you need a lemon?" You help each other out. But it is called culinary fight club.
But actually, the rules state that if they have it on their table and I did not, I can't get it. Right? As long as I didn't take it originally, I can't.
If the chef next to you would like to share with you, we'll let that happen.
Okay,
we don't want to set you guys up for failure.
Well, because
he doesn't have to share with you.
Well, dude, it's competition, man.
Yeah.
Also, if they're dropped on the ground, they are disqualified.
Yeah, so that's in any of those competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount we did one in Kansas City. It was a barbecue event. We had, 15, 20. Okay, 15, 20 competitors. We give them all the rules. Don't touch anything till you get ready to go. Pantry race starts. First guy that gets there jumps on the table, laying on food. It's like, please get off. I mean, first off, it took me like 40 minutes to set up the table, which was then upsetting. Now he's ruining all this other food. But it's also, that just shows how chaotic that 45-second sprint is.
There was flour, salt, spices everywhere. Eggs. There were eggs on the ground. Someone stepped on a tomato. I'm glad we didn't have like banana peels or anything.
Yeah, that 45 seconds is absolute chaos, but it's very entertaining and it gets the night started, gets the competition started.
Yeah,
everyone gets involved. It's really fun.
I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the background of each chef is very different, right? So we have I'm not sure. I'm looking at Dustin. I can't figure out exactly. Because it says, he was a company chef or whichever, but it doesn't really tell much about it, And then I know he does some competition stuff on the side, but there's not a lot of stuff out there on him. Then we have the caterer, and then we have which I'm not downplaying that, by the way. I'm just trying to shake your confidence. And and then the other guy's kind of unknown to me. He's they have the restaurant there in Frisco.
Yeah, and I like that it says, in his bio, it just says that he's been in the business for 17 years.
Exactly.
There's he could have the greatest accolades ever, but I think it's kind of interesting to see it like that, which also then when I introduce people gives me nothing to work with. So I'll make sure I got to figure something out there.
Well, that's like, I think, I threw it out there. Now everybody knows, that what my background is. Look, I've done everything. I've opened everything from like fried chicken shacks to smokehouses to steak restaurants, but I specialize in Japanese food. I've done Southeast Asian, Thai restaurants. I studied a little bit in Thailand. But yeah, it's just, I always kind of go back to,
Well, and Johnny, obviously Johnny's Filipino, so I've got to learn a lot about that culture around there, and with his family being in the restaurant business too. So.
Sorry, I was just thinking about like the sticky, the red rice, sticky rice, with
wrapped in banana leaves.
Dude.
Oh, it's so good.
So,
I don't think you could do that in 40 minutes.
No, but I could do lau lau.
You could try. Yeah,
I could do lau lau.
Yeah.
There's bacon. I bring banana leaf, fish, coconut milk. Oh, dude,
that's like 6 ingredients. So
no. But if enough, so I mean,
well,
there's bacon on the shelf.
Correct.
In theory.
Yes.
So I just need I could incorporate coconut into the drink. I'll bet we could make that work.
Well, and then we'll be bringing a protein. As well.
See, I didn't know that.
But we're not going to tell you what kind of protein it is.
Well, of course not.
Well, yeah, we got to make it somewhat exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be like tri-tip.
We're not bringing steak from Kansas City.
Oh, well, you can't bring brisket. That takes too long. Ribs, I don't know. All right, look, we burned away another 30 minutes of your lifetime, folks. Yes. Well, you might have gotten smart. You might have grown some brain cells right here during the second course. The soup, the salad is done. The heart of the matter, the meat of the plate, the entree's coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 4 minutes.
Cool.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Trump has met with members of the royal family as he and the First Lady continue their overseas trip. British Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt says the president may be controversial, but that doesn't affect the tight bond between the two nations.
Well, he's a very controversial president, and we've all got used to that over the last 2 years, and there are no visits from President Trump that don't have unexpected moments. But this visit is also about something else, because 75 years ago, we had more than a million American troops on British soil, all prepared to risk their lives to defend our freedom.
The president will meet with soon-to-be-departing Prime Minister Theresa May tomorrow. Trade talks with Mexico getting underway. U.S. officials have emphasized President Trump is serious about tariffs on Mexican imports if the nation doesn't take more action on illegal immigration. Also at townhall.com, a Pittsburgh-bound flight has safely returned to New York's LaGuardia Airport after a bird strike. American Airlines Flight 2107 returned around 8:30 this morning. No injuries were reported. There's been a slowdown in the growth of U.S. manufacturing.
The manufacturing sector has grown for 33 straight months, but the rate of growth slowed in May. The Institute for Supply Chain Management says its manufacturing index dropped 0.7 of a point from April, but it remained above 50. Anything over 50 signals an expansion in manufacturing. Although productivity slumped in May, new orders and employment both improved. Several companies surveyed for the index say they're concerned about import taxes imposed by President Trump on China. Mike Hemp in Washington.
On Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is ahead 33 points. The NASDAQ, though, down 102. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for for was a publisher who was honest and upfront. No hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
Muted of it. All right, folks. Yes, we're back for the meat of the matter, the center of the plate, the entree. I don't know what the hell we're talking about today. It is CFC Culinary Fight Club, the first event here to be held in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I'm your guinea pig.
I appreciate you being our guinea pig.
I should stand up here and say hi. My name is Patrick, and I'm a workaholic.
I'll give you time to say that.
So I was kind of an ass when I was a young chef, and I don't mean it to be. That's not a point of pride with me. I literally had a French chef who was one of my mentors. He was my boss. The guy was my freaking tormentor. He was more like my warden, right? But he threw a knife at my head one time, literally, and it stuck in the wall. I'm like, dude, that was so. God. I didn't say anything. He just like, yes, pay attention. And I'm like, okay. 2 days later, I didn't show. He's like, no call, no show. I said, yeah, I quit. You can't fire me. So that was pretty much that.
I will say there's a lot of young chefs I feel like that come through knowing a lot. But at the same time, they don't know,
but they don't know a lot.
I never really had a mentor. I'll be honest. I just kind of I jumped into. I've been cooking for a long time, but I didn't go to school till I was already in my mid 20s, and which is not late, but I had a lot of business experience. I'd been living in Japan as an interpreter. Then I started cooking, or I was a copywriter. Then started interpreting, and then I just fell in love with the food, and I didn't want to do anything but cook Japanese food and learn how to steam rice. I learned how to steam rice. Jeez, I'm telling you what, man. That's the last first thing they teach you is rice. And then all you do is rice, day in and day out rice. You rinse rice, you soak rice, you cook rice, you season rice, you store rice, you wash out the rice, the shari-dai, the big mixing bowl, and then you make more rice. Basically, that was.
So is that like a level thing? Since you were at the bottom, is that you start with the rice and then you get to work your way up?
No, you start by you cut the damn oranges that they give, or segment oranges, or peel vegetables, or
the garnishes.
Yeah, and then you get to pickle. If you're really lucky, you get to slice the shiitake mushrooms that are then you pour the hot broth over and they're soaked with it's soy broth basically, and you might get to grill the zucchini that's used in vegetarian. Whatever, but you really don't get to do anything fun. So one day I just grabbed a fish, right? And I'm like, he's like, you got to teach me how to cut. He's like, I'll teach you. Okay, we're almost there. And I'm like, no, today. He's like, yeah. So I just cut the head off this hamachi, right? And he's like, no! Time kind of stands still for him for a moment. It's like I just stolen his child, right? And he's like, no! He's running at me, and I'm like, I'll cut again. He's like, okay. So he's like, I'll teach you tomorrow. So the next day comes, he doesn't teach me. I'm like, I got your knife. I got your Debo, the big one. Yeah. There's a big, huge tuna laying there, right? About 100, 150 pounds. Not huge, but big for yellowfin, or actually just hon maguro, the actual tuna that's in the Sea of Japan. The true tuna is what they call it, and it's very similar to yellowtail, but has that beautiful deep color of big eye bluefin tuna, or big eye tuna, right? It's not fatty like bluefin. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I thought he was gonna pass out. He's like, no, dummy down. Like, he's like, okay, dude, I'm just joking, man. Just teach me how to cut the fish, okay? Will you do that? He's like, okay. So he started teaching me that day. Not on that, but you learn how to do mackerel first, because that's not super expensive.
Was there a specific reason you couldn't just cut that up? Was he saving the collar, or?
Well, so you have to, just teaching you the technique of cutting, right? How you get the best use out of it. Like breaking something down into loins is one thing. When you start blocking fish, though, So into the blocks that you use to cut into individual pieces for sushi or sashimi. When you start looking at that, because you have to look at a tuna from the front and then determine by looking at the tail and if it's a top or bottom loin. And if you're right or left-handed, it's a right or left loin. Then you have to like, okay, so this is the way the sinew runs. If you don't cut this way across the sinew, you get the chewy pieces. All right, so then how big are the blocks need? How many I got to get out of it? Is there fatty tuna left in there? If it's big eye or and there's just a bunch of stuff.
That's
to
my
learn.
favorite, the Toro.
Man,
oh man, I love it.
I went to this place in San Diego one time, and a great friend of mine, Miles. I actually taught Miles how to roll sushi, and he's like far surpassed me. He's got a great place called Kappa Sushi in North San Diego County, and we went downtown, and the chef there, he'd been in from Japan for about 3 years, and they have the toros between the really tough sinew, the sinewy pieces. Well, he took this, the sashimi chopsticks, those plating chopsticks, the silver ones.
Oh yeah.
He took that and he ran it between the piece of sinew and took that piece of meat out as one whole, as like slab that was like 5 inches long, and he just laid that over that little piece of rice. It was the single best piece of fish I've ever had. And I mean, I've eaten in Japan, and it was just because he didn't cut across the sinew.
Yeah.
And so there was literally no texture. It was like eating, fatty tuna flavored butter over rice. I was like, it was unbelievable. I'd never seen anybody do that before. So, yeah. I'm not bringing Toro tomorrow, guys.
I was going to say,
really
now
hungry.
let's focus on that. Let's go with there.
If I didn't have to worry about the 100 1 ounce tasters for the guests,
That's getting pretty expensive.
yeah, that'd be 100 of your salary here because we're still trying to build this channel.
You're doing great.
Thanks, man. It's fun.
I'm listening every day.
Are you?
I mean,
I hope so.
I wanted to make sure. Yes, I knew what I was getting myself into. So yeah, we've been ever since.
Listening.
Yeah.
To me or the other people?
You.
Cool. I don't know if that's. Well, thank you.
Well, I mean,
Actually, thank you.
and Randy, obviously.
Yeah, well, so Randy, don't forget you're doing a show this afternoon. So just no, Randy is a stellar young man. Randy White with Into the Fire. I realized so the last couple of weeks I've missed his show because everybody leaves at 4. Not always. One Monday a month we have a meeting here at 5:00. So Randy's show goes on at 4. I usually produce the show and we have a good time. But the last couple of weeks because he started a full-time position, back in IT, I'm like, dude, man, where are your callers? Where's your show? It's kind of like I like the shows you had. I don't mind listening to him again, but so he's going to come in and do a new one today, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, he'll be live. So I don't know if you probably won't be here at 4.
4? No, we've got to actually check in and get stuff done now.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, so let's talk more about CFC. We know the rules for the most part. Right. I know you guys give us how many cassette stoves do you give us? How many butane burners?
You get 2 butane burners apiece.
That's plenty for me.
Yeah, and then
but you could also bring an extra one if you like.
Yep. And there are no fryers, right?
Correct.
No chef mics. You can't have them anyway, dude. If you're using a microwave other than to heat breast milk, give it up. Get out of the kitchen. You know what? I'll be honest. Even in a nice kitchen, I've always had a microwave because a guest may bring their own food for their child or something, and you need to heat it up. And I don't like using it. But, on occasion, there's not really.
I think there's a spot for it. It shouldn't be a main.
It should be over in the service station.
It should be as far away from the actual cooking as humanly possible.
But I've heard that before. It's like, hey, would you hand this to Chef Mike, please? And I'm like, oh, well, but, you don't want to hear somebody in the floor saying, put that in the microwave.
Exactly.
But, all right, so no deep fryers. We can I did see we can bring a pressure cooker, right?
Correct.
And hey, guys, it's not as easy to make rice in a pressure cooker as you think. And we're talking a burner top pressure cooker, right? Not like an Instapot.
No, and I don't. With the Instapot, since it's become popular, it's kind of something we need to address more.
Yeah.
But as long as if you brought it in and everyone else was okay with it, we're okay with it. We just want to make sure everyone's
more than likely. I won't have one there. I don't know. Beef rib sushi though.
I mean, you might want to
little short rib.
If you bring it and they say it's okay.
Well, I may just throw one in the container. But I'm like container. It's so vague about the container.
Just
so
in case. Just in case.
Yeah. So folks, there's one of the rules is that you can bring. Is it a container?
It's a container.
Okay, a container with your pots, pans, your all your utensils you need,
cutting boards, knives.
Yeah, so you need different cutting boards. So. So anything you need to cook with that you are bringing with you, and now do your ingredients need to fit in there because we need a cold box?
No, your ingredients don't have to be in that box.
Okay, just checking because I could fit them in there if I need to. I'm just gonna have to pack some ice carefully, and so that's what we get. One box, one container. So I'm like, I'm kind of, look, I don't know. I've never gone. And I looked at the pictures. Somebody's got one really, the picture you put up is nice because it shows one big container.
Right.
And it's funny because the lid has to be closed. And it says, if you need help, we will help you pack the container so that the lid is closed. And I was like, I thought that was kind of cool because I can imagine people's stuff stacked up. Like,
and we've had it before when people roll in, they're like, well, it all fits in the container. I'm like, yeah, you read the first part of the sentence, which is important. But the second part is also important. You have to have a lid on this. And then, we've had people come in with like, a body bag sized container. It's like, no, we can't.
They roll in with a coffin.
Exactly.
Too big, yeah.
But it's kind of like, that kind of defeats the purpose of this kind of fair competition we're trying to do here.
I think you go with like a certain size Lexan,
Yeah, and that's usually what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Something that you've got in the kitchen already that, no one's going out to buy a new container.
I don't know if you've seen our kitchen, but it's basically a microwave and a little tiny courcountertop.
Is that where the coffee was?
Yeah.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, that's my kitchen.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is actually. Considering it's not a kitchen, it's a lunchroom. But we're actually working on building a kitchen studio downstairs. So there's one of the Country Network has a studio that's vacant. So I'm looking. I think we get one countertop and flooring sponsor, and we're just looking for some equipment manufacturers, and then we'll start doing some real fun stuff. So.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow if you want to see me on in front of a television prompter or not. But so we have one container. We have more, and you can jump in anytime because, that container also has to have all the stuff for the bar.
Yes, that's correct. The last one we did, a sip and bite, was in New Orleans, and it was really interesting to see how people built their cocktails around their food, and one competitor actually built the food around his cocktail. So you can really go all in and put more bar ingredients or more bar equipment, depending on what your strategy is. Because they have to pair well together.
Well, so it's funny because I saw one of the pictures, like these beautiful roasted vegetables, and it looks like a grilled cheese maybe next to it. But I'm like, okay, I see 1, 2, 3 vegetables, which they could have been in the pantry, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm like, the grilled cheese, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and with that pantry list, it's more of a guideline. Every once in a while, like
something might be
right. Like we had dried figs was a problem one time. We just couldn't find them. But then there's also stuff that we'll bring that we think is interesting, and maybe see if someone wants to use it. We have some pickled herring that I've been taking around with me. Shelf stable.
Dude, I love that stuff.
That's actually a trap. None of the chefs should probably use that.
No,
or maybe,
it's just been with us for so long now.
Maybe I don't have to use it. I'll eat it and just take one of my ingredients and snack on it.
It needs a home. It's been with us for too long.
So the juice from that could be used in an interesting way.
Yeah, and
so it's pickled, not the.
It's a mango. I want to say it's even mango based.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Okay, I don't think
smoked mango flavored.
Okay, now you're getting a little far out there for me now.
Yeah.
As long as it's not herring and cream sauce, I might be able to. Okay, so with the, I don't want to ask too many questions because look, I know how to cook, right? In theory. I cook all the time. It's not like I don't cook in kitchens. I'm a hired gun all the time for big catered events and plated stuff up to 2,000 people. You get 80 employees in the kitchen, 200 servers, and you're like, let it roll. Okay, here we go. Actually, we had 100 servers, but remote kitchens, trying to serve 4 different levels at the Museum of Modern Art in some godforsaken city that I don't. It's fun. It's fun, and it's a lot of pressure, and it's always something new, right? Because
that's what I was going to say. It's always something different, no matter how many catering events we've done or how many times we've been in the restaurant, how many of these events we've run. There's always something new that pops up that we haven't seen before, or that you'll bring, or that is a question. And sometimes it's like, well, that's a good idea. That's a good question. I need to figure out what my response is because.
Tell you after the next event.
Right, exactly. You know what? We have guidelines about that. You should read them in about 2 days when I update it.
Well, here's the thing: as chefs, I'm gonna. This is a piece of advice to everyone out there that wants to enter the culinary field: is if you want a mundane existence where you know what's going to happen day in, day out, it doesn't matter how many reservations you have. It doesn't matter how good you get at being intuitive, drawing that data out of your P-mix, your product sales mix at the end of the week. And if you don't know what that is, then figure it out because it's the most important piece of data you have, right?
Or you might not want to be a chef if you don't know what those two words
mean. Or GM or bar manager, whatever it happens to be. Just here's the thing. if you're not somewhat an adrenaline junkie and like the challenge of overcoming some new obstacle every minute of, every hour of every shift, not every minute. Sometimes it's every minute. Usually it's every hour.
I'll say when we at District on our first Fridays, it's an every few minutes thing of trying to overcome something, especially with that tap takeover at the same time. So the bar's slammed with something new that they haven't really served a lot with the new beers that we have. The kitchen's slammed with those crab boils. And I mean, there's only so much you can pump out at one time. So they're definitely stressful. But the good thing is we won't be there for this first Friday because we've got another catering event we're doing. So
really?
Yeah, we've got Jazzu in Kansas City. So big,
awesome.
multi-thousand person catering event. So
well, I'm sorry, that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
when is it again?
It's going to be on Friday night the 7th if you're in Kansas City. We went and saw your zoo earlier today. Gorgeous. Loved it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Pretty cool zoo.
Yeah, well, so I lived in San Diego for a long time.
Zoo. We have a pretty cool zoo in Kansas City too.
Dude. It was 1 mile from the entrance to the back door of my little bungalow. It's right on. I don't know if you know San Diego Zoo is, but there's like this green strip across. There's a highway that you have to cross across a bridge to go into Balboa Park and then the zoo. You can go on the back way, but that's no fun. And it was exactly 1 mile across that green belt, down like a quarter mile to the road the bridge that goes across into Balboa Park. Exactly 1 mile door to door to the zoo entrance. And my son was like a year old then, a year old. And so we used to walk down there and go.
So you had to go through Balboa Park to get there?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was like, oh man, I wish I didn't have to make this walk every day or every couple of days. And I worked on Coronado Island, which really sucked. Beautiful view of downtown. And
Boo-hoo.
Had a floating dock that it was actually closed. It was part of our dining area. So I'd sit there and watch these sailboats go by, like pretending to do my menu for the evening or like doing the schedule. I'm like,
yeah, it's weird. It took you an hour and a half to write down those 5 new things that you were going to do tonight.
Oh no, it was one thing. One thing. Yeah, it's like I'm going to note to self. It's like a scribble mark. It's got like the record screeching. But the zoos are fun. They're a challenge because they always have a kitchen, right? But it's not quite. Do you guys roll your own stuff in? We'll
have a whole bunch.
Big propane ovens. And
we're going to have pretty much anything and everything we can think of.
Well, what am I bringing? I'm bringing like 6 chafing dishes. And, well, it's there's multiple restaurants in the Kansas City area, and it's a big charity event.
Okay.
8,000 people.
Wow.
Over 30, 40 vendors restaurants.
Food and booze.
Food
That's
and booze.
awesome.
And we have to provide 2,100 servings?
Yeah, I think that's right.
A small taster.
So what are you guys doing? Or is it a surprise?
Wild mushroom risotto with a ground sirloin and demi-glace on top. So we have the option of having a vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free with risotto, no cheese, made with veggie stock, and then we'll finish it with
Dude, you just
the ground sirloin demi-glace with fresh herbs, whatever. I don't know. I haven't made it. I haven't made this. I've made this before, but not for 2,000 people. So we're going to see what happens.
You're breaking my heart with a gluten-free vegan. I mean, come on, man, it's risotto.
That's part of why Tito's is so popular.
No,
and that's why we use it so much. That's what we use for our infusions. I don't know if that was clear earlier.
Yeah,
that's why it sells so well. The gluten-free. Part of it.
Well, sushi's gluten-free too, as long as you use tamari, right?
There's a lot of stuff that's gluten-free. Mm-hmm. It's just when they started marketing it, they did it right.
Absolutely.
You said, the niche with talking about the Grey Goose, they did the same thing, found their niche, and it just took off.
I'm telling you, it was brilliant. If you look up it's a funny video actually. If you look up the history of Grey Goose, there's this I guess one of the greatest marketing ploys of all time. It's the story of Grey Goose, and it's a really funny video. One guy plays like 5 different roles in the video. It's pretty funny. All right, so. Wait, one more time. What's the event called again?
Jazzu.
Jazzu. And can the people donate? Probably can go to Jazzu, Kansas City Jazzu.
Yeah, you can find it there. And there's a bunch of different contribution pages you can be a part of, all different levels, all different things.
Most of the proceeds go to help the exhibits and the animals and the wildlife preserves that they help out.
Which we saw here in Dallas. That was a cool marketing thing that they had with buying the wristbands for conservation. I thought that was real smart.
Very cool. I got a buddy on here. He's working on retooling his hickory smoked pineapple ale. I'll tell you what, this guy, Richard Brandt, better known as Tech Roo. That's his social media handle. He brought in a Scottish ale that was that was probably one of the best beers I've ever had. The hickory smoked pineapple ale, but his Scottish ale was just unbelievable. It was possibly the best beer I've had.
I was going to say, what kind of percentage is that Scottish ale running for?
Well, it was one that had been repurposed. It started out as this, kind of shaped into that, and ended up being this.
Got it.
It was high.
Yeah.
I was like, I got a growler that left, maybe. But yeah, I was a little, I don't want to say I was tipsy, but I was, okay, maybe a little tipsy.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Scottish ales. It's just, there's only so much intake you can have of that at one seating.
My mouth is starting to water.
We on Fridays
it's almost happy hour, right?
Yeah, it is. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Who cares? But we do this beer for breakfast Friday bit. It's a segment, 30-minute segment in the other studio over there with the opposite or the same time co-host or anchor over there, host Matt Locke. He's going to be my mixologist tomorrow night.
Oh, nice.
I may be working on that offsite with a different mixologist, so he'll just whip it up and help me plate. But we do beer for breakfast Friday. Now it's like boozy brunch because his show moved back later, so we don't go until 11:30. We used to be 8:30 in the morning. It was like, beer at 8:30. We're like, and then I had to wait and then do my show. So I was sleepy by the time my show came around at 1 o'clock. Yeah. I was like, it's time to go to sleep. I need a nap. But so this guy brought some in. Richard Brandt brought some in. He brought a whole bunch of beer down from Wyoming with him.
That's awesome.
And it was incredible. It was we had a bunch. He had a nice coffee stout in there. APR, American Pride Roasters, is one of our advertisers. He used their coffee. But, that's the big thing now is these infused drinks. Not just infused, but flavored or functional beverages, right? I'm seeing, it really wasn't my favorite, but there's a particular beer in California that's got bought up by another, I think, Sierra Nevada. This brewery did, and they had Fest was the name of the beer, right? And it was all organic and it had healthful properties infused with this or that and the other, but it wasn't good.
Right. And that, we see that, especially we have about, we have about 100 beers at the restaurant, and the cycling through of different flavors and stuff you see now compared to like 5 years ago, it's insane. There's just there's too many options, and like you said, you get this really cool, like, oh, that sounds neat, and it's got one run, and it's not what you expected, and then that's what you get.
You're not talking about the Lucky Charms beer up there in Virginia, are you?
I am not, but I know what you're talking about.
I actually want to try it just to see.
And that's it, and that's the big thing is we can move it through a case pretty easily of whatever we get because everyone wants to try one. Yeah. Sweetwater down in Florida recently just got to Kansas City, and they use hops that are really close to smell like something else. Their brand is called 420, the pale ale that they sell. But it's one of those things that everyone wants to try, and then that's it. So it's kind of like...
We can talk about it. It's okay. Look, I actually have a cannabis cooking show on another channel, so it's
Listen,
okay.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So if you felt the stuttering and the pausing, anyone felt that?
I'm a partner in a medical cannabis company in Massachusetts, so let's put it that way.
All right, deal.
Yeah. It's funny because I don't partake, but I believe in the medicinal properties. I had a dad that died of cancer, and my mother died of diabetic coma. So I was a big proponent of THC. Well, mostly the CBDs and the healthful properties of that. But there's some stuff only THC can work with within your body, and it's a very interesting field. I'm curious to see where it goes over the next few years.
Yeah, and that's one of the things now in Kansas City is a lot of people are using CBD oil in cocktails, but as of right now, there's no regulation on it. So it's kind of like it's a gray area.
Missouri did decriminalize
marijuana.
Yeah,
it's a gray area, I think, for us until they do pass guidelines and they figure it out.
Well, I know a lot of states, so it's funny because you can put it in drink, you can take it as a supplement, but like New York, LA, a bunch of other places, they started cracking down and having it as an additive in baked food items. Like they closed down a lot of bakeries or took their food. Matter of fact, there is a bakery in New York, in Manhattan, where they put all their food, all the CBD infused stuff in a bin, and they put confiscated or I forgot what they put this tape over it, and then they just left it in their refrigerator. They never took it away, so they had to watch it rot. They weren't allowed to touch it. They couldn't dispose of it because there were no guidelines as to incorporating that into food. Now, here's one of the things is if you're going to bake it into something at 460, CBD deteriorates to like 0%. So that's one thing, but I just don't understand, or 360, not 460. And so, I mean, there's a trick to using CBD as an infusion. But I know WFC is going to have CBD infusing as one of their
I saw
challenges.
That. What is that? Just a completely separate category? Because I've read about it, but I didn't really
I would think it would have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a tough one. It's really difficult because then does everybody going to use the same CBD oil, right? And are you going to have it far enough advanced to really know? Is it full spectrum? Does it smell like hemp? Does it smell like cinnamon? Is it infused with lemon?
Well, and I'm sure it's not going to be available nationwide to some people. So you're right. There's got to be some sort of way to make that more of an even playing field.
All right, so we're going to go a little bit early here, folks. Chef Patrick Mosher along with the crew from Kansas City. CFC folks are going to kick my butt tomorrow. We'll be back.
At Food Biz Pro.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
And folks, we're back. It is the fourth and final course of the day, dessert, but no dessert today. We're going to keep talking about food, Culinary Fight Club. Who knows what kind of rabbit hole we're going to down, but it'll be fun. All right, I got to ask, how many events have you been to or attended, emceed, refed in the CFC arena?
5,000. I'm kidding. I don't know.
I don't know. We've probably done 20 plus now, 4 or 5 cooking, a couple, just hosting them in Kansas City. And now, our market, we're the Southern reps, but yet we've got Minnesota, Omaha, Kansas City. We've got a St. Louis event coming up, which you don't know about yet.
There's actually New Orleans. That's today.
And then there's another one tomorrow night when we're going on. There's one Friday, right?
Yeah, and then we've got the Pensacola one that we had talked about earlier. So we're in 22 cities now. So
nice.
And we try to have about 3 events in the city. So we're at 60 plus events, and it just keeps growing little by little, which is great.
I asked the other day, and Anthony Amelia goes, "So how many events do you have?" He goes, 69. I'm like, no. I'm like, he's between 69 and 70. I'm like, dude, that's the number you got to throw out there.
Shocking.
He knows
Anthony.
chefs. He knows. Yeah. I'm like, it was fun. I was like, it was
86.
But I think that's 86. That would have been better. Yeah. 86 events. Oh, inside joke, folks. The cool thing is our listeners are kind of broken up between what would be the traditional Food Network watcher, foodies in general, people who just like to listen to BS, or their friends are on here, and then people that are in the culinary field. And that's I'd stopped watching Food Network about 10 years ago. Nothing against Food Network. I just, once the first few seasons of Top Chef were done, I know Ian Hall, I watched him win, and my buddy Kent Rathbun was on a long time ago. He won, he beat Bobby Flay in Iron Chef. He and his brother. It was the Elk Challenge, which was one of like the top 10 kitchen stadium
I think
moments.
I remember that. I was rooting for him.
Dude, I'll tell you what. So this is one... he tells his story on air. Kent is one of the coolest chefs. He's here in town. You guys should go see him if you have a chance at some point. He has a new restaurant called Imoto downtown. It's I think it's right off of Victory Park, right downtown. And they have two other restaurants. One is the Lovers. It's on Lovers Lane. It's Lovers Seafood and Market, and then they have whatever's right next to it. It's basically another Asian concept though. And his lovely wife Tracy and her partner, they run that one, and then they have all this. So he comes in and he's telling me, this is probably the only time I'm telling you scripted television was really cool, because they tell him, you don't have long in Kitchen Stadium. And you're going against somebody like Bobby Flay, or Bobby Flay. We used to call him Bobby Flail. Nothing against you, Bobby Flay. Look, you're a good chef, great chef. But he's the face, really the face of Food Network. And I think the first time he went to Japan and did Iron Chef, he lost.
Yeah, didn't he go? Was that when he went to go against Morimoto?
Mm-hmm. And then he
was
at
that
yes.
back and forth competition they did.
And then he went back and won. Later on. But I'll tell you, that's what happens. You get like 6-7 restaurants, you become the face, and you stop working the kitchen. But he went back, he busted his ass because he was going to redeem himself, and he did. And I props to him. And maybe I'm wrong about the story, Bobby, but that's what I hear. So anyway, Kent and his brother, who's a chef in Atlanta, they go into Kitchen Stadium. It's Elk Challenge, and they got like this big haunch, this hind quarter, like 300-pounder. Kent's a big boy, and he used to be a big boy, but I mean that's 300 pounds of elk meat, right? And one of the producers says, "Hey, I know it's tough, but just when the show starts, grab that thing, throw it over your shoulder." And he's looking at him like, "Dude, just trust me, do it." Anyway, so that ended up being one of the top 10 moments in Kitchen Stadium history. I mean, he hoisted that thing up. You can see it was a lot of meat, man. It's
wow.
like, yeah, he's a big boy, and I think it was like 180, 200 pounds of.
And you knew that producer was like, "We need someone to do this. That's our one guy that can do it."
Yeah, I don't know if they were aiming. They were looking for good television, right? Not necessarily a top 10 moment, but it was pretty cool when he like a year. They showed it in the air for over a year.
That's awesome.
And you can't. How it is. You can't say anything for a long time. Now I know WFC just changed to that format. What's the long term goal with the CFC? What's the
it's nice being in a bunch of different markets because we get to meet a bunch of different people, and I think that's we're just trying to make this nationwide network, opposed to having different types of competitions that lead into us. We want to run all the competitions, and we've got a really good base from it. We've made really good friends in Atlanta, and they've got a good, they've got Culinary Fight Club there, and they do a lot of that market. And in Chicago, where it all started. So we're kind of branching out little by little, but just meeting people all over the nation's been great.
Yeah, so I met, Angela and Tim?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, so I met them at the food show, the NRA show.
Yeah, Angela, we've worked with Angela and Tim before.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're saying. And it's amazing, though, once you get ingrained in any aspect of the culinary world, and you really get ingrained in it, right? And you've reached a certain level, the world is very small. Like, there's like 2 degrees of separation between, an executive chef at a certain level in one town and any other chef in the country, pretty much. Maybe 3. But I mean, worldwide, it's a tight knit group, but not just chefs, bartenders as well. So like Shingo Gokhan, you should look up Shingo Gokhan, by the way. Do you know who he is? A little Japanese guy.
I've heard of him.
So he was a partner in Angel's Share in New York, and they had the best speakeasy in the world. It was in Shanghai. It was called Speak Low in Shanghai, and then they had this guy's like, he's won the Bacardi Open. Bacardi has no good alcohol anymore. He won the Bacardi Open 2 out of 3 years, I think. But he's like, it's fun because you get this network of really cool, interesting characters that you only cross their paths like once every 2 years. You're like, hey, what you been up to? Oh, here's the whole litany. And I was like, oh yeah, I saw that, or I read that, I watched that, and it's just a cool thing. It's fun.
And that's how it's been with Fight Fest in Chicago last year. There was 20 plus people from all over the nation that went up and did it. And I mean, now,
which if I win, I get to go to this year, right?
Yes, you do. And it's
Sorry,
a great. No,
did you see me smile?
It's a great time, and we've met a lot of people through that, and it's led to this bigger network. And like you say, you know, when you hear someone talking about somebody, you now either know the person they're talking about or you've seen them on TV now, and that's kind of the point we're getting to. And I love every minute of it.
Yeah, we had Greg from Boston and Ryan from Los Angeles, and then we meet. You know, we're from the Midwest, Kansas City, and then we all meet in Chicago. Just everyone from everywhere, people from Dallas, Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's been a network that we've kind of held on to and been, you know,
Omaha,
we still talk to all of them. I mean, Adrian Cruz is, you know, he went, you know, cooked with James Beard, and he was up there, and now I think he's going to come up and see us tomorrow. You know, it's kind of that sort of thing.
Well, in me, so I specialize in openings, right? I've done several, we'll just say several dozen openings, and which has allowed me to travel around. So again, with the James Beard chefs, you know, I was up in Northwest Arkansas. There's a young man named Matt McClure. He's at the 21C in Bentonville. He's been nominated twice. He's been a semifinalist twice. He hasn't won it yet, but and you know, living in Houston, there's a huge look. 18 years ago, 2001, 18 years ago when I moved to Houston, there was barbecue Mexican, man, barbecue Mexican. Barbecue Mexican? Well, you want barbecue or Mexican? I don't want barbecue or Mexican. I want something different. You got barbecue or Mexican. All right, so now, and that's a joke because there's a ton of, actually it's the second largest population of Vietnamese in the country as well, Vietnamese heritage, people or that came here directly from Vietnam. And so there's a huge influence there. But I remember when, what's his name? Jean-Georges von Grichten opened a restaurant called Bank. And it was in an old bank underground, this really classic building. They brought in this really savvy, badass chef from young lady to run it out of Austin, and they were closed in 4 months. Then they had, there was a place called Katsuya. Katsuya is based out of L.A. Philippe Stark is the designer. And they had this great chef there, and they came in, and it closed, right? And so it's a tricky market, but the chefs there now that, the guys that grew up there, like Chris Shepard and some of these other guys you have there, the guys like Dean Faring here in Dallas that was a father. He is like the godfather of Southwest cuisine, along with Robert Del Grande down in Houston, right? The like smoked duck empanadas. Like these guys were doing stuff in the late 70s, early 80s that people are starting to just do now when they start getting this. But it's this hotbed, right? And everywhere's turning into that. These little tiny towns like Bentonville, Arkansas. James Beard nominees in a town of 50,000 people? Really? Right. Well, of course, money might have something to do with that, but it's cool. I mean, Kansas City, how many cool, badass chefs are there that are not doing smokehouse barbecue stuff?
Well, and it's amazing, and that's what we were talking about on the way up here, is I think we've gone to second most restaurants per capita in the United States. I want to say Portland's like number 1, and we're like number 2 or 3 right now.
I believe it.
And it's amazing how many small places open up, you know, how many farm-to-table kind of places, how many young, I say young kids, I'm almost 40, but it's seeing these people that are 25 and under just creating just all these amazing dishes. And like you say, it's just so different from 20 years ago when you had one person doing it. Now everyone's got these amazingly creative ideas, Johnny included, which is why I brought him along in the first place. And just watching this young talent grow, it's in that city and how small it is community. We're not compared to Dallas, we're tiny, but everyone knows everybody, and it's cool to see what everyone's being able to do. One of our best friends, she worked with us at the Classic Cup before we all split off, and she's got a Scandinavian place, and Scandinavian place in Kansas City. And
a friend of mine from Chicago, Cheryl, her name is Cheryl Heisler, right? She does we do a mixed metapours. So what are we drinking this weekend? She's a mixologist that does custom created cocktails for your party. She works with the Writers Theater in Chicago. She does all their cocktails, and they're paired with the play. And it's really fun. Look, we did a Facebook Live when I was in Chicago a couple weeks ago, like a 10-minute video. But she keeps a kosher kitchen. And she was in Kansas City, and someone actually cleaned everything up and made it kosher. Their smoke, they had a separate pit, right? But their grill and everything. And she had barbecue for the first time. And she was like, oh my God, I've been missing barbecue.
That's so cool.
Because you can taste meat and you can smell the smoke. But if you've never paired that, and especially, look, barbecue runs the gamut now. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. We were talking like the style down here compared to Kansas City, compared to Memphis. They're all just so different.
And it's not just the sauce.
We have to get barbecue before we leave.
Yeah, well, you know what? So there are a bunch. I'll tell you some. Like I'd love to tell you one or two or three, but I'll say them off the air. There's a there's a guy that's going to be on the air with me tomorrow, Brandon Anderson, but he's a caterer. But Risky's is really good. Man, that's some good barbecue. There's a couple. Risky's, and there's a brewery about 4 miles from here, straight into Fort Worth. If you take the highway down and basically you just go straight instead of turn left.
Yeah.
And it's the Cowtown Brewery, and they have a barbecue joint there. I'm so tempted to call them out. But
there's so much competition, right?
Yeah, so I mean, look, there's some.
So if you say one, you have to say the other, but you can't say.
I'll be honest, Risky's is great.
Yeah.
There's a couple other great joints in town that, and you can look up #1 barbecue in DFW, and you'll get 15 of them. But
sure.
There's some really good stuff. And if you guys are going over towards like Dallas proper, in Deep Ellum, there's a couple good places over there, which is where Deep Ellum Distillery and Brewery are. Matter of fact, Deep Ellum Distillery, I have their, this is kind of cool. They have a dill pickle vodka.
We got one too.
It tastes more like this. Well, theirs is actually, they distill and put in the, that's mass produced.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's more like, I'll be honest with you, it's more like bread and butter pickle, because it starts out like, you get a little bit of the brine up front, and then it kind of goes into buttery sweet, and then the buttery and the vodka, and then you get this sweet at the end. So it's actually really good, but it's not. I was thinking a little more brine, but it was. It's pretty good. Yeah.
What have you tried it in?
What do you need it in?
You need a Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
I tried it in a glass
every day. There you go. A container.
Bloody Mary mix. Try that out. That'd be really good.
All right. Mental note to Patrick. Boozy Brunch Friday is now Bloody Mary
and that's what
dill pickle vodka.
Yeah, and that's what we've done. So our Bloody Marys have won a couple of years. Best Bloody Mary in town.
Really? And y'all didn't bring one. Okay, hey, everyone out there, no more guests in this studio unless you bring a morsel or a drop.
You know what? That's fair. Perfect rule.
I'm just saying, Trey Chapman has this great show called Trey's Chat On Live. I love the guy. His family's been ranching in this state since like 1841 or 1843. And they've still got a working ranch. It's about 3 miles from here, or 3 hours from here. And he's been doing a show called Trey's Chat On and Drinking with Trey for like 10 years. And then he just started Trey's Chat On Live out of the studio because he brings in John Tissar was here, right? Tissar and all these other big name chefs and distillers at least, all right, I have to tell you, Bryce Cottrell. He does, it's called a Noble Wolf Distillery or Noble Wolf Vodka. It's a vodka made solely from grapefruit, no grain. It's freaking awesome, by the way. It's awesome. Well, we'll make sure you get some of that. But he brought something for us to drink. Deep Ellum brought something to drink. Dude, all these badass barbecue guys, these like groundbreaking chefs are coming in. I know it's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. So what? You got a kitchen. You got guys to cook it for you.
That's actually the last radio show we did in Kansas City. That was one of the requirements since we had to bring 3 dishes with us.
Well, see, you can come in without it all out, but I'm telling you, you're breaking my heart as a chef that loves to try something new every morning.
We're going to see you tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So maybe we can talk about it then. Maybe we'll have something
well,
for you then.
Well, look,
maybe we'll have something special.
This is actually more for my benefit to make sure I got the questions answered. And look, I want everybody to understand the ground rules, right? I want the people that are going to go and not just participants. If you're going to go and watch, or just even watch on Facebook, or however we may end up broadcasting this, just to understand why we do it, what we're doing, and ultimately it's to help feed some people that really need it. But
as you were saying, you haven't competed in 20 years. It's like you still have that itch, though, right?
Not officially. I haven't competed,
but you still have that itch to want to compete.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got the young kid that wants to prove himself, kind of deal. You've got the caterer that wants to be like, well, I got
to sharpen my knives tonight.
I can just there you go,
but not too sharp.
No.
We'll do our best to help you.
No, I'm okay with that. I just I'll do a little. You know what? I'm a not a kitchen gadget kind of guy. I don't need the big grinder. I have actually really good. It cost me $12.
Stone.
No, I got a stone. The $180 stone where you get oil all over everything when you leave. Tri-stone. I mean, I'll do it on it, but I'll put a little hone on there tonight. There shouldn't be. Look, it's 100 people, 4 plated, plus 100 tastes. You shouldn't have to be slicing, dicing, chopping 100 things because A, the pantry's small. You can only bring a total of 6, right? 3 and 3. So you can't get too crazy with this stuff.
No, but those ingredients are going to be so important to you because, everyone's got the same base. So it's what you can do with what we give you, and then, obviously what's going to set you apart.
So should I go with the protein you bring in?
I would say if I'm bringing in a protein, you probably need to use it in some facet.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the only protein.
Yeah, you know what? I can go for a twofer. But
what I would do is bring multiple mystery ingredients and kind of decide what I want to do
with that protein
right before the chefery checks me in. So you kind of have options.
Actually, that's
improvising.
That's a good tidbit.
Yeah.
So because will we get to? Do we get to see anything before we get checked in? You can say I can't tell you. It's okay.
Possibly.
I mean, because I got an idea what the pantry's going to be.
Right, you got the pantry figured out.
That's 80% figured out.
Correct.
That's okay.
We throw in the protein. It's going to be a curveball. Usually the alcohol, and especially when we have a sponsorship, that's a curveball that we normally do. Sometimes we bring other stuff.
Yeah. Well, this time we know. At least we know what the main.
Correct.
What form of alcohol it's going to take.
Correct, and that's very important, especially when you're going to be creating that cocktail along with it.
Guess I need to look and see what their seasonal is right now.
But you know what? Yeah, maybe. Possibly.
Hey, who won in New Orleans? Oh no, don't tell me. I'm sorry. You know what the thing is? I thought if you ask the question at the right time, people can't help but answer because you can't do two things at once, right?
No, you get it fast enough in there, and your brain just clicks and goes, "Oh, I know that answer."
I know what the thing is. I tried not to do it before when I was really focused on saying something I was going to do, and I was like, "Man, that's such a douchebag move. You can't do that. Don't do that to them because if it slips out, then I can't take this back off the internet. Right. We have no delay."
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. By the way, there's 3 rules.
Okay.
No F-bomb. Okay, we did good. We don't say GD.
Part
2.
And
Santa always exists because we don't break any. We don't have that discussion either.
I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old.
Dude, what'd you get for Christmas from Santa last year? I got socks and underwear.
That's probably about right. It was so memorable.
Yeah.
Being the dad of 3 children, it's always real memorable what you get for Christmas.
Okay, we got a couple minutes. Let's talk about your personal favorites, right? Okay, I'm going to ask you your least favorite. I'm sorry. What is your name? I'm terrible with names. If I don't write it down, I swear to God, I don't remember. I have to write my children's names down.
It's Catherine.
Catherine. I won't forget anymore. Catherine. What is your favorite trend in the beverage world right now? Or a couple. You can throw a couple out there. And speak right into the top of the mic. Yeah, you can say, you can, I know there are many right now, but what's the one you like? What's the one you use the most? What's the one you like using the most?
So this is going to sound really cliche, but I really enjoy craft beer. I like the differences that are going on right now with your solid IPAs. And then like Dan was saying, we have over 100 beers at our restaurant. So we're constantly moving them in and out, and then also pairing those beers with our infusions and trying to come up with these beer cocktails and come up with a dynamic menu. I really like expanding my palate and expanding just because you can have an IPA or you can have anything all the way down to a sour to a stout.
Oh, I like sours.
You know,
Me too.
And it also varies on the season. You know, someone that didn't like stouts last year might come around. You know, it's winter, and
your palate changes too.
Yeah,
mine has changed a lot.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the things I really enjoy going to distilleries, going to breweries when. Hopefully we can pop into that brewery and check it out and just kind of expand my horizon on.
They have some really cool, like all their beers are German style down here. And so it's kind of cool. Like their barbecue is really good. I have to say, I enjoy the fact that they cut the brisket thick instead of just fall apart thin. But their beers really kind of stood out for me. And I love German style beers. So
yeah, we got a German Kansas City beer company opened up right down the street from us. All traditional German style. They brought in.
Yeah, they do sausages, like house-made sausages, right? And
they brought in all their equipment from Germany. So
that's awesome.
We've gotten to get to know them and like that style.
There's a place I go up to Fort Collins out there. There's a place in Fort Collins that's just getting going that they brought in a really old system from Germany. I'm curious to see what happens. Okay, real quick, Catherine. I didn't write it down. Look, least favorite trend right now, or the one you think is overused.
Vodka cranberries. You know, like expand your horizon a little bit. You know, get out there and try something different. You know, try your wherever you're at. You know, get out of your bubble a little bit. I mean, I'll make them all day long and they're easy to make, but I'd rather make a cocktail that was put together by 4 or 5 people, our bar staff, our back of house. I'd rather make a cocktail, put together something. You tell me what you like, and let me do my thing back there, and I'll come up with something for you, and we can get you something a little bit more complex than what you've drank for 5 years. So
what if the customers told you they liked Jägermeister?
There's stuff you can do with Jägermeister.
Yeah, there's some stuff you can do with Jägermeister.
Well, I had a bad college experience, so I can't really do Jägermeister.
I had a bad experience in Germany in college and a bad one in the United States in college. I didn't learn.
The second time I went to college.
Yeah.
Fifth
all right.
year.
So, different question. Best food and beverage pairing you've ever had?
Man,
This is Johnny, by the way.
That's really tough. I know I'm
an ass like
there's
that.
There's a local sushi place in Kansas City. It's actually the Toro that I had. It was sliced right in front of me. Just put he handed it to me in my hand and I ate it. It was fantastic. And I wish I could have that every day, but I can't. And a nice sake,
like an unfiltered.
Unfiltered. I don't know. It was lightly chilled.
See,
it was good. There's time and place for chilled sake and then warm sake, not boiling sake, which sometimes you get like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah, because they're covering up the bitterness.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
the hot sake gets usually the cheapest blend, or it's not always the cheapest, but it's there's a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason when you see that.
You ever had Purple Haze?
The beer?
No. I've had Purple Haze.
Are you talking
Purple
about
Haze
the
is
strand from Colorado?
Is that a Beta?
No, Purple Haze. Is it a Beta?
I can't remember, but yeah,
I think it might be because we had it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we had a beer for breakfast. Okay, so Purple Haze is when you take the hot sake and you put Chambord in there.
Oh no,
it's
I
actually
haven't
not
had that.
bad. Drink too much of that though, and tomorrow's really.
Well,
a bad
it's just
day.
alcohol on alcohol. Yeah. I like it. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, worst
Have
hangover.
you ever had sake with like a squirt of sriracha in it?
I've had everything with sriracha in it. I think. Yeah. I think at some point I have. I think I put a drop of Dave's Insanity sauce back when that was the only really hot sauce back in the day, like in the 90s.
Ghost pepper?
No. See, I don't see. That did.
Yeah.
Nobody even knew what a ghost chili was at that point.
I was going to say you were at habanero.
We're talking like 95, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Biggest dislike about. Okay, how about this? Your least favorite food trend currently?
Least favorite food,
or the one that's overused and just
currently. It just changes so much. It's like it's always the new superfoods. Those were bothering me a couple years ago, And then what was it? And then after that, it was the squid ink was going to be super popular and everything. And then after that, after kale had its run, then that when all the super grains started, it's
ancient grains.
So many great ancient grains we're going to have today. I just can't just watching all those trends just go through because we know what it's going to be. It's going to be here for 6 months, and then we're going to. But the problem is we have to have it on our menu, and then we have to get rid of it because then the next thing is popping up. Right now, we're getting ready to start a one night a week for keto. It's really popular right now. We're going to put a lot of work into it, and then 6 months later, we're not going to be doing it at all. I think any of those really short term trends that you can see coming down the pipeline, it's just knowing, hey, we're going to put a lot of work into that, and then. Yeah, they were not going to. I mean, remember Atkins? How huge that was? I mean, it's just
all
those
started with all started with Sears diet actually.
The Sears diet.
Oh yeah, Dr. Sears was out of La Jolla, California. Started in this like late 70s, early 80s, and it all came a high protein, low carb. Then that was all. That's where the South. They all were basically started with Dr. Sears. If you go back and look at that, but yeah, they're all some sort of transition and keto, paleo. Okay, but
well, there's that avocado explosion. Right, but now avocado's here to stay.
Yeah,
and I think kale is here to stay too. And
I think so.
Yeah, it's fantastic,
dude. There's a great. So
it's affordable, delicious, so good for you.
Pre-Gel USA, you have Pre-Gel America. So Pre-Gel is like they make gelato bases and things like that. They're like the big guys out there on the block, but they do some amazing stuff. They have a corporate center here where it's basically a training center, a school, and their corporate chef comes in. He had kale green apple. Gelato, freaking unbelievable! Oh my god, it was so good. And they had avocado, but the kale green apple was by far the best.
That's cool.
Well, you had that tart. You had the almost I can't.
You got the bitter.
It's just amazing.
You got some of the bitter and the tart. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know how that. I was like, how do you make gelato so creamy and it's lower milk fat than American ice cream? But anyway, it's the slow churning. Whatever. He told me, but I refuse to remember.
Asian flavors like purple yam and
that's in the Philippines. They have that. Yeah. That purple yam, and then they serve that on a hot dog bun. They have avocado. I mean, a hamburger bun, right? Because they ran out of cones one time, and so they were like, we got to put it on something. So somebody ran and got, and they do that
in Manila. Like an ice cream sandwich. It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
I love it.
So my favorite pairing was I just graduated culinary school, went to Paris as kind of a graduation trip, and I also got to see my my host family from Germany. Drove into Paris, and it's like 7 o'clock. Sun's going down. Eiffel Tower. There's a place, Rue de Safran. There's the restaurant, Rue de Safran, right? So walk in, get the guy with a big handlebar mustache, doesn't speak any English, blah, 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 sure, and they bring the prefix menu, and I asked his lovely wife, spoke English, and I said to him, you wouldn't happen to have like little neck clams or minnow clams on the half shell with a muscadet, right? Which is basically, it's surly, it's still got they don't, anyway. Doesn't matter. The yeast's still in it, but it tastes salty because they grow the grapes near the ocean, and they had that pairing, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I've been dreaming about that since my first day of my wine and spirits class. I was like, "Perfect." Yeah, the heavens open, sun shone out. Yeah, it was awesome.
And how long ago was that?
A long time ago.
Still your favorite?
Still my favorite.
That's amazing.
Yep. All right, folks. Any last words? CulinaryFightClub.com.
CulinaryFightClub.com. Concrete Cowboy tomorrow night. Event starts at 6 o'clock. Come out and see us. That's what I got.
Thanks. All right.
The first rule about Culinary Fight Club is talk about Culinary Fight Club. Tell everybody.
Hey, like and share. Chef Patrick Mosher, Catherine, Johnny, Dan, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll tell you tomorrow. Hey, remember, be nice to yourselves. Ciao for now. You got a reprieve for 22 hours. Bye.